Thank you for taking some time for yourself. You don't have to relax just yet, but if you can close your eyes and take a deep breath in, hold it, and let it go. Perfect. And it gives everyone a sense of pleasure to focus on their chest expanding, relaxing, rising, and falling deeper into existence. And most people begin to discover their shoulders resting, arms, tummy, legs relaxing. And you've known all along how to get physically comfortable. As you go deeper into this experience, perfect. You don't need to control your thoughts. You don't need to be concerned with the depth of your relaxation. You can just allow it to happen. Perfect. And I'm curious if you can focus on your breath. Inhale. And exhaling off into the distant clouds somewhere, someplace. And some people believe those distant clouds are moving gardens teeming with life, an invisible aeroplankton. And that once upon a time some of these clouds arrived here from worlds that once were, arriving via solar winds, and these solar winds carried remnants of a star trillions of millions of miles from here, billions of years ago. When that star exploded, space seeds and spores were blown throughout the galaxy. And here you are in your breathing space. And I'm not sure you're aware how special you are. You've slowed down your breath rate, heart rate, blood pressure, without me asking that of you. Now I can only imagine someone as fabulous as you, when you were very small, could make tiny sounds. And you would use all your might to make loud sounds. And if you would intensely focus, you could form simple words. And it took a lot of courage on your part to utilize every opportunity to express yourself. That's how special you are. And I don't know if in the past you felt you were putting things off until later. Avoided ownership if you could. Took it easy, planned for failure. Didn't believe in yourself at all. lacked energy, confidence, hung out with those that accepted less, rather than people who wanted more. But what I do know is, anyone in your situation would completely understand how you've been going about things, but it's got nothing to do with you. There's a process to things being different. And in a moment, I'm going to share with you a few stories. And at first you might be thinking, why am I sharing with you these stories? But your subconscious mind will be listening and do something wonderful for you a little later on. And it reminds me of a story from the book, The Structure of Magic. There once was a man who was convinced he wasn't worth caring for, and he complained his wife never gave him compliments. But when a therapist visited their home, it was clear, very clear, that his wife gave him compliments and expressed a great deal of care. And as you know, with selective hearing, you're only responsible for what you say, not for what people understand. And it reminds me of a story from storywrite.com. Because as you know, school dances are a staple of petty drama, especially in junior high school. And Mrs. Moore knew that. So Miss Evans, the 8th grade science teacher, turns to Mrs. Moore, clearly bored, and says, I haven't seen anything bad happen yet. I'm surprised, Miss Moore replied. Something always happens at the dance. And about 20 feet away are 4 girls dancing. And Miss Moore suspects something's wrong. Why are they playing Taylor Swift? One of the girls moans. Another, are we doing Jello shots? That's dumb. I hate that song. I hate all of it, says Abby. The girls seem to be leaving the dance one at a time, returning 2 at a time, returning. Miss Moore finally asserts her authority over Mrs. Evans and asks her to check on the students outside. Mrs. Evans can't stand Delilah. She can't believe her mother lets her dress that way. She looks like jailbait. Mrs. Evans asks if everything's okay. Yeah, of course, they reply. Delilah shouts Nick and starts chasing after him. What the hell, as she finally catches up with him. The girls beg him to return to the dance, but Nick's reluctant. Nick's covering his face, and once his hand finally moves away from his face, Abby understands why he didn't want to return. He had a black eye. And it reminds me that once upon a time there was a girl who could do anything she wanted in the world. So one day she sat down in front of a blank canvas and began to paint. And every stroke was more perfect than the next. And eventually she managed a painting, and it was so obvious the heavens were looking after her. She was an artist, and she knew it in every fibre of her being. She had the ability to do anything in the world, but she felt there was still so much more to see and do. So she stopped noticing the clouds in the sky, the stars in the sky, and she would go for long walks. And after 25 years, she began to cry. She had spent years wondering at the endless possibilities of all the things she could do. So she began to paint. One stroke led gracefully to the next, because she had finally made the decision. There was still time to revel in the magic of life. And as a wise man once said, strategy without tactic is the slowest route to victory. Tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. And what I mean by strategy is, if you wouldn't mind taking this moment to imagine a fitness center whose strategy is to become the top holistic experience in town. But their tactic is a Wednesday wellness program where nutritionists and trainers hold seminars on healthy eating and exercise. And I don't know what strategy you will choose to implement into this productive year. And I'm curious about you. But what I do know is, when you use tactics like the Pomodoro technique, where you set a timer for 25 minutes to focus and then reward yourself with a 5-minute break, you will not only do better, you will be better. Like all great horizons, there's a focus, a diffused focus, a vision with peripheral vision. And it's okay to have tunnel vision and get all wrapped up. But as you and I both know, when you take a moment to step back and admire the journey, well, you've known all along. And it gives everyone a wonderful sense of pleasure too. And for some people, it's just like, get on with it. And for others, excitement bubbles deep within them. And I don't know what feelings you need to pack for this journey, but I'm curious. So the next time you find yourself putting things off or moving through life a little too slow, remember a wise man once said, what in God's name could be there on the horizon? And while those words might inspire you, you and I both know only action creates change. What I'm really saying, without any effort on your part at all, you've worked very hard today. And I hope that your subconscious mind will take real pride in how hypnotically talented you are and in how much you've accomplished. Little by little, moment by moment, you can begin to move into your future world. Stretch out, wriggle your fingers and toes, and open your eyes. Welcome back. You're perfect just as you are.